Yeah, that's clear.
And welcome back to our Book Talk segment. Great to welcome two men that have co-written a very interesting and helpful book. It's called The Plant-Based Athlete, a game-changing approach to peak performance. We're joined today by Matt Frazier. He's the founder of No Meat Athlete, and Robert Cheeke. He's also the founder of Vegan Bodybuilding. They join us by telephone today. And gentlemen, good to talk with you. How are you?
Thanks,
Doing great. How are you
appreciate
guys?
it. We're great.
I'm doing great. I know you're doing a busy book tour today, so thanks for joining us here. We're in Sarasota, Florida, but also on our podcast we'll be talking to hopefully people all around the country. But I had a chance to read through the book, and I got to say, as someone, I'm not a world-class athlete by any means, but I've kind of taken a little bit to what you've talked about. I drink carrot juice whenever I can, and I have one of those bullet machines where I can put vegetables and different kind of things in there and make my own smoothies. So it's helped me a little bit, and I'm sure this book's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Sarasota is a great place to get the fruits and vegetables for that too. I love it down there. Yeah, we hope it will help a lot of people. Like we've aimed the book. We use top pro elite Olympic plant-based athletes as the subject of the book to determine what it is they do that helps them perform so well. But really, we wrote the book for everyone, for the recreational athlete, the weekend warrior, really just the person who wants to be at their healthiest and feel their best. So yeah, it's for everyone, and I hope it gives a lot of people confidence that you can absolutely make a plant-based diet work with your lifestyle, and that it just may be the very best choice you can make for your health and fitness.
I know you talk about, of course, Tom Brady, who, again, won another Super Bowl, 42 years old, looks about 10 years younger than that. And I didn't realize, I know he had a kind of a specific diet, but it's pretty much plant-centered, isn't it?
Yeah, Tom follows a predominantly plant-based diet, and he has for years. And he's documented that, talked about it, mentioned it in his book, the TB12 stuff, even has a line of plant-based supplements and all of that. So he's not exclusively plant-based, and so we call him plant-forward or plant-centered. But what he's experiencing are the benefits of a plant-based diet. There are certainly those who do it all the way, of course. Novak Djokovic, who just won the French Open the other day. Chris
Right.
Paul, who's on his way to the Western Conference Finals, and Venus and Serena Williams and Lewis Hamilton. And I mean, it really the list goes on. Kyrie Irving in the NBA. But there are those who are experimenting with a high plant-based diet, like getting the majority of their calories coming from plants. And they're seeing these amazing benefits, especially with longevity. And that's what's so cool about Tom and about some of the athletes that we write about in our book, is that they're doing this late into their careers, in their 40s and 50s and beyond.
Just, you mentioned two tennis players right there, one Djokovic, and you also talk about Venus Williams as well, who benefited from it. I know she's had some problems with autoimmune, but it has helped her, right? So particularly with recovery, I guess that's one of the main things. If you're an athlete, this kind of diet helps you recover quicker from maybe not injuries necessarily, or injuries, but just normal recovery of the muscles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, across the board, the athletes that we interviewed and the athletes we've encountered in a combined 35 years of doing this, that's the number one thing that they say as their reason when it comes to performance. That plant-based diet helps them recover faster from workouts so they can get more workouts in than the competition can. For someone, more recreational like me, like a lot of people listening, it's not so much about getting more workouts in than the competition. It's about reducing soreness, and it's about coming back fully recovered from your workout instead of, missing a little bit so that, injury starts to pile up and eventually you do get that injured. And that's due to the anti-inflammatory compounds and antioxidant capacity of all these different fruits and vegetables. There's so much micronutrition in these, so nutrient dense are plants that they just seem to work like that for athletes and for recovery. And thankfully people are starting to discover that, which is awesome. And, who knows if it can help you recover from actual injury. It's quite likely that it can. I mean, turmeric, the root, has been shown to reduce the recovery time from things like hospital surgery. And that, again, due to the anti-inflammatory properties of it, just an extremely great anti-inflammatory food. So are things like ginger, tart cherries, so many different fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. These things, they fight inflammation and they help you recover, whether that's from an injury or whether that's just from a workout.
Yeah, you mentioned in the book, and just right now, drinking tart cherry juice. I've seen that in the stores. I've never tried that one. I've done the natural cranberry juice, but there's something in that juice that helps, right?
Yeah, it has been shown to reduce muscle soreness and inflammation in athletes. They've done studies on it, and it's really quite the powerhouse. A lot of people who run marathons or longer distances will drink tart cherry juice ahead of time or even during their race so that when everyone else, 30 or 40 miles in, starts needing to take ibuprofen to fight their inflammation, the Tart cherry juice is already doing the work for you, and a lot better for your body to be drinking Tart cherry juice and popping vitamin I, as they call ibuprofen on the ultra running circuit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I guess most people probably ask you this, and I'll be the next person to ask you, but people say, well, are you getting enough protein? I know you talk about it intensively in the book as well, but don't you need meat or some meat or eggs or even some dairy to kind of balance your diet out? Now, you talk about it in the book, there's, I guess, nothing wrong with having some of that, but you don't really need it, right, for the protein-based?
You absolutely don't need it, Doug. And I'm someone who's been a champion vegan bodybuilder and put on 100 pounds during my 25-year bodybuilding or vegan athlete career.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just one example. And the reason for that is because the amino acids come originally from plant-based foods, the amino acids that are the building blocks of protein. So you're kind of, there's that kind of that joke, like, where do you get your protein? Well, I get it from where your protein gets its protein. You take out the middleman, take out the meat, take out the eggs, take out the animal flesh, animal protein, and go straight to the source. And you know why that's good, Doug? When you do that, guess what you get? You avoid the dietary cholesterol, you avoid excess amounts of saturated fat and super calorie-dense foods, and that can harm things like artery walls and damage endothelial cells. But really importantly, is that you get the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients, fiber, and water that come from plant-based sources of protein. And as long as you meet your calorie needs, you will get enough protein throughout the day. Most people, including non-athletes, people who literally just sit on the couch, get way more protein than they need. And if you're an athlete, just reach for more lentils, more beans, more leafy greens, more legumes, grains, and things like nut butters. And you will get plenty of protein. And hopefully, 5-10 years down the road, we won't be having as much of this protein conversation, because most people will realize, it originates from plants and it has all this extra beneficial material, especially those micronutrients that come with it. And
you also recommend maybe eating more frequently, or I guess 4 or 5, 6 meals a day, smaller meals, doing it the plant-based way, right?
I mean, it really depends on your goals. Like, if your goal is to lose weight, then you may not need to do that. You may just be able to do what's so great about a plant-based diet, which is fill up on 3 meals a day, and the amount of whole plants that it takes to fill your stomach, the amount of calories that will fill your stomach compared to the amount of calories in an equivalently filling amount of animal products is much, much smaller. Plants they're not calorically dense. That's the terminology for that.
Right.
Meaning, given the amount of volume, much lower calories. So that's a great thing about the plant-based diet. For athletes, though, many athletes are actually trying to keep their caloric intake up, or at least meet certain levels of total caloric intake, because they're burning so many calories. So they don't want to lose calories. So the solution there for me, like, I tried it when I tried overeating during meals and say, well, that's how I'll make sure I hit my calories. But it's just too hard, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not easy to do. So the flip side of that is that plants digest so efficiently and quickly, so that 2 hours after a meal, you actually can be hungry again for another meal. So that's the way it has worked for me, just to eat more frequently. That's the way of keeping my calories up. Different athletes do different things, and in the back of our book, we have this day in the life section where you can see what 25 of these top elite athletes do, exactly how they eat during the day. And it's really neat to see that some of them do eat large meals, and some of them eat many more frequent, smaller meals. So there are lots of ways to make this work. But the smaller, more frequent meals is what's worked for me. And I would say the majority eat a little bit more than 3 times a day.
Yeah, that's good to know. And before we run out of time, I know we're limited time today. You have, again, I should have mentioned before, more than 60 recipes in the back of the book, not just for dinner or lunch, but you also have some breakfast meals in there, some desserts as well. So you're not going to be just tasting the same thing over and over, right? You got ways to make it, for those of us that don't like all kinds of vegetables, to make it taste better, right?
Right, absolutely, Doug. You find what works for you. You find your favorite meals. And what's really exciting about the recipes is that we got them from the elite athletes themselves. Like, these are recipes from Olympic gold medalists, from world champions, from some of the best in the world in their sports. And so it's not just my recipes or Matt's recipes, not that ours aren't good, and those are some of my favorites in the book, but we went directly to the source of, what are these athletes eating, who are achieving these incredible high levels of success, and we're able to share that with readers in that recipe section and in the day in the life section. And I think people are going to find that fascinating.
Name of the book, again, is The Plant-Based Athlete, a game-changing approach to peak performance. And we've been talking with the co-authors, Matt Frazier and Robert Cheeke, today. And, gentlemen, give out a website or where you'd like to direct people to get more information about the book.
Sure. The book is available just about anywhere books are sold within the U.S. If you want to go to book.nomeatathlete.com, you can learn more information on our website. And you can follow any of my stuff at No Meat Athlete or NoMeatAthlete_official on Instagram. And then, Robert, what's yours?
And I'm just search my name, Robert Cheeke, or find me on veganbodybuilding.com.
Great. We'll also put a link as well on our website. But, gentlemen, great to talk to you. Good job on the book. Hopefully we can talk to you down the road, and thanks for being with us today.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.